I've heard the term social selling thrown around, misused.
Yeah.
And I think there's a massive confusion between what exactly is it. Just because you're selling online or yours happens to be selling on social media doesn't actually mean you're social selling, right? And so that's what I mean. So what is it?
Social selling isn't actually selling.
Okay.
So there's a big misconception there. So
see what's get
yeah. So it's not, you're not actually going, here's my thing, buy my thing. It's convincing the buyer, just like you do in the sales process, it's convincing the buyer to move forward, to get them to the point where you have that sales conversation with them. So what you're doing through your content, and so we talked about this earlier, but a lot of the time, there's a difference between marketing and social selling. So marketing is kind of broadcasting to a lot of people, whereas social selling is a lot more contextual. It's very, very specific. So sometimes I will go out and I'll create a piece of content specifically for a single buyer where I've had a sales conversation with them. They've bought something up, and then I'll an example was a couple of months ago, I was in a sales process with a Melange vendor, and they bought some stuff up. I went off and wrote a newsletter specifically for that buyer and made sure that buyer saw that newsletter.
How do you make sure they see it without just being like a cringe DM? I was just thinking about you just dropped this and
you know that part of the process again of social selling is making sure that you're spreading yourself through their network collectively and their business network, so that you're connected with a lot of people. So you only need one or two people from their business to interact with that content, and that's going to push that out into their feed.
Yeah, and I think that's where I guess like understanding the algorithm of different networks is important. But again, there's no guarantee, and that's a problem with social media, is that you spend so much time creating content and you push content out there, and a teeny tiny portion of your audience actually sees it.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you could have spent how many hours on that piece of content? It could be fantastic content, and the person you actually want to see it doesn't ever see it. And short of dropping it into their DMs like a cringe monster,